Hey, how's it going everybody? Happy holidays. I wanted to get a video out this month, but the next big video I'm working on is taking a bit longer for me to work on. Also, I wanted to get out on a certain date, and I will tease that video at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. But I still wanted to get a video out this month, and I figured I'd do a little brief unscripted history of Ultraman and Christmas. Now, to note things about Japan and Christmas is that Christmas is not celebrated like it is in, say, the States, where it's like a big holiday. Christmas is less of is not really that big of a holiday, and in fact there's still like businesses are open on the 25th in Japan, so there is that cultural difference that we have to acknowledge before going into this. But again, I just want to do a really brief history on Ultraman's relation to Christmas, because I'm a big Ultraman fan and there's not much to talk about. Alright, so when it comes to the first three shows, there wasn't any Christmas episodes or anything like that. Really, not that I can remember off the top of my head. And for Christmas episodes, I am basing on what is considered a Christmas episode on the wiki. So the first technical Christmas episodes are actually in Return of Ultraman, the two-part story Ultraman Dies at Sunset and When the Ultra Star Shines. Not so much Ultraman Dies at Sunset, but it is important to relate to the next episode. Again, this isn't really a Christmas episode, it just takes place on Christmas, and I won't spoil the episode, but let me tell you, it is a very traumatic... This story makes Christmas very traumatic for Jack. But we do know it takes place on Christmas because of the end of When the Ultra Star Shines. I also want to, mention that there is some Christian subtlety in Return of Ultraman, but that could be, like, it can be taken, but it's not really, like, overt, so I might be mistaken. But yeah, anyway, those are the first technically Christmas episodes of the Ultraman series, was in Return of Ultraman. But the first real one was in Ultraman Ace. The episode Resurrection, the Father of Ultra, is the 38th episode. And this is the episode where we find out that Father of Ultra is Santa Claus. Yeah, so Santa Claus is in this episode. This is a very overtly Christmas episode. Probably the most Christmas episode that I've seen from the Ultraman franchise, and I'll tell you why in a second as we go through. But yeah, Father of Ultra's Santa Claus. What else do you need me to say? And then next up is Ultraman Taro. We got the Ultra Christmas Tree. I don't remember much about this episode. I've seen it once. I will eventually rewatch it, but I guess I do remember quite a bit of the episode, but I don't remember much of the Christmas aspect. I know that it has to do some with the Ultra Christmas Tree, but I will tell you, Gamera fans, you might find some similarities with this episode and Gamera 3. So you might want to check out the 38th episode of Ultraman Taro. And next up, when it comes to Christmas and Ultraman, is that it actually doesn't have to do with any of the shows. That was like the last episode, a Christmas episode for a while, nothing more from the Showa series. But the next one is from the early 90s when Tsuburaya was having ads, so this was before Tiga, was airing or anything like that. Tsuburaya made a couple of commercials for them, and not specifically Ultraman. There's one was Busca, that was celebrating Christmas, that featured Ultraman. But the main one that you'll find if you search up Ultraman Christmas commercial is one where we have this little girl saying, "Last Christmas I gave you my heart." And we see Kaiju are celebrating Christmas, and we find out Ultraman's, has a Santa hat on. He's, has his bag, the Santa bag, and he is dating Alien Dada. Yeah, these commercials in the early 90s, they shipped Ultraman and Dada together, and you know what? Power to them. And by the way, the reason why there is a kind of a romantic implication with Christmas in these commercials, like even if you look at the Busca one, which was also Subaraya, Busca's under Subaraya, that had a romantic implication. That's because Christmas Eve particularly is more of a romantic holiday, sort of like Valentine's Day is, in the US, where it's more for couples, but it's not exclusive to couples, of course, but just from what I've read, Christmas Eve is the more popular holiday in Japan than Christmas Day itself, and so yeah, again, Christmas is also not that celebrated in Japan, like I mentioned, as it's only been really a thing for the past couple of decades in Japan, specifically, so keep that in mind. So that was the 90s. Next up is, we got the last Christmas episode from the Ultraman series, which is Ellie of Christmas from Ultraman Max, episode 26. And I haven't seen Ultraman Max yet, so I don't really know what happens in the episode. I will when Mill Creek actually releases the Ultraman Max set, or next month, hopefully. It's a shame that they weren't able to get it out this year. This would have been a cool episode to check out for the holidays. So even though that was it for the, episodes, like Christmas episodes, the next thing that we got for Ultraman and Christmas that I could find, and by the way, this might not be everything. I am just going from what I can just find and what I think is big enough. But the next big, somewhat big celebration of Ultraman Christmas is we got this album called Ultraman Christmas Song and Story, which includes a winter version of the Ultraman Mebius theme song sung by Voyager, as well as Ultraseven, Ultramans, and then we got some classic, Christmas songs. So we got that, and just like if you see, just for this album and whatever, this is where we get to see Ultraman more of the full Santa Claus getup, minus the hat. So, and it looks like that's where, like if you look up Ultraman Christmas on Google Images, you'll see, this image I'll probably have up on screen. That's probably for this, song. It was, or this album. It came out in 2013. So that's it. And we haven't had any like Christmas episodes in the new generation of Ultras, and that's because new gen Ultras only kept to really a 25-26 episode count, and by the time Christmas comes around, they're wrapping up the show. Like this year, Ultraman Decker is wrapping up, so it would be kind of stupid to really have a Christmas episode when you really should be focusing on the plot, like finishing up the story, getting to the big climactic battle and conclusion. But hey, maybe next year it'll be different if the rumors of the next Ultraman show are true. But even though New Gen Ultra hasn't celebrated Christmas in the series, lately Ultraman Connection, the live stream events, have been celebrating the holidays, with the first one being in 2021, which featured Trigger. There's Trigger behind, in front of a Christmas wreath or whatnot, and this seems to be a new tradition, that's going to be happening every year. While Ultraman, like the 2021 Ultraman Connection was on the Ultraman Connection site, the latest one that happened this year was Ultraman Connection Live, that happened on YouTube, and it was actually a celebration of Ultraman Ace. And by the time this video comes out, I'm thinking it's coming out on the 24th, Christmas Eve. you should be able to rewatch the stream on the 24th until the 31st. So if you missed a stream, go check it out. And I hope that's still the case. That's what they mentioned on the stream, and it was just a nice celebration of Ultraman Ace. It was nice to see Ultraman Z come back. It was a really good stream. And that is the latest of Ultraman, and Christmas stuff. The very brief history of Ultraman and Christmas. I hope you enjoyed this very short video, or short-ish video. I will have my next big video up very soon. Next month might be very packed, just with how scheduling wise it's turning out. But yeah, I hope you have a happy holidays. If you don't celebrate the holidays, I hope you have a fantastic winter break. If you do get a winter break, I really hope you have a great rest of the year, and I hope the new year goes well for you. Take care. Watch. Here's the preview for my next video.